Hey, friends and family. Hey, loved ones. Hi, I just wanted to jump on here for a few and share a couple practices that I've been working with and playing with the last couple weeks. I'm super grateful for the Medusa Sadhana that I was able to participate in and continue these practices, continue on with these practices that were offered. And yeah, I'm excited for all these new tools in my toolbox that I'm really super grateful for to help me navigate through this time of confusion and transition, endings and new beginnings. And yeah, a new relationship with time and creation and the life cycles. So I had just been doing some reviewing for this last month, this last cycle, and I flipped open my journal, my current journal that I'm working with, to November 7th, and this is perfect for me. This is what I needed today too. I always need reminders, and I'm always grateful to receive them. So November 7th, 2021, it was the new moon portal in Scorpio. I embrace the mystery and the magic of all the possibilities. I embrace beginner's mind. I embrace the I don't know, wonder, awe, attitude of no mind. I embrace my life as it is. I embrace myself as I am. I embrace the world as she is. I embrace this love, all this love as it is. Allowance, humility, gratitude, trust, and full acceptance for the things I can change. And for the things that can change. Change is the only constant. Be with what is, and be the change I want to see. Be with what is, and be with me. Be with what is, and free it to be. Be with me, and free love to be. Be with what is. It's all for me, we. Be with what is. Love is free. We are free. Love is free always. November 8th. New beginnings and endings, chaos and order. Letting go of resentments, regrets, wrongs, and disappointments. The scorekeeper's board, the measuring stick, the pedestal, the corral, the boring brown box, the cage, the prison guard. The nitpicker's rulebook, the detective's magnifying glass, and the hyperactive hamster on the judge's wheel of fortune. The ego's need to know to stay ahead and in control, to avoid pain, discomfort, or pitfalls, confrontation, and uncomfortable attention or potential harm. Change, growth, or transformation? Is that what I'm avoiding? Or just the discomfort of those things? The unknown and the unfamiliar? Avoiding. Being seen as the wrong one, or the one to blame, so needing to make others wrong and stay the victim or play at being the victim and the black rebel sheep. I was sad, angered, disappointed with certain friends and family members for not living up to or measuring up to my desires, ideals, wishes, expectations, and needs. My survival needs, strategies. Damn it, they can't please me and I cannot please them, so where does that leave us? Disconnected, separate, and displeased, severed and dismembered, divided and decapitated, without a voice, without a head, without a heart, without a spirit of friendship, a container for love to grow in. Cut up, cut off, cut away, cut out, a separate stick figure character trying to figure it all out through all the cut out parts. Yeah. And so that's super interesting. For trying to make sense of the whole picture by just viewing little parts of it. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we can get an idea, and each part does reflect, the whole within it. And the whole carries all parts and reflects all parts of that whole. And so it is interesting. And sometimes we're looking through this narrow straw, and we're thinking we're seeing the whole picture, but really it's our own narrow hyper focus. And so sometimes that's our blind spots and our limitations to seeing more clearly and the whole truth. And so what I've been working with is showing up authentically and fully and freely, honoring my integrity in and through my relationships. And so there was some shifts that needed to happen in certain relationships. And sometimes it is right to go back home to ourselves and leave everything else to its own devices, to its own self, you know. And so I did that, like, in this last 2-year cycle, where there was certain relationships I needed to walk away from or step back from or distance myself from or just detach from. And breaking up old patterns and needing that space actually to give myself my own quiet time and the space that I needed to realign, because there was some things I wasn't seeing clearly, for sure. And I did feel so chaotic and torn up and torn apart inside. So many different contradicting beliefs and desires. So it took a while to sort out. It felt like, the bullshit and the lies. Look at all those things. And at some points, I felt like I was picking everything apart, picking it all apart, examining, questioning, challenging everything and all of it. And even, all these parts that I've played and that I get to play and that I have played, and tearing all that apart and playing, all the parts that friends and loved ones and teachers have played for me. Some of me was having a really hard time, with trust and trusting myself and trusting others to show up and trusting others to keep their word and to honor their word. And so I was seeing that in certain ways, like where certain actions didn't line up with certain words. And people would say things that they said they meant, but actually they didn't. They didn't mean what they said, and they didn't say what they meant. And so that just kind of, there was some red flags there for me. And I knew it was an invitation for me to look at how I was honoring my word and to look at my agreements. So I started practicing very actively once more the 4 agreements again, with don't take things personally, don't make assumptions, always do your best and be impeccable with your word. And that really super helped me navigate through some challenging times, and just remembering, this isn't mine. I don't need to take this personally, even though this sucks right now or this hurts, or my feelings are a little hurt, but it really isn't personal. And so what else can I see about it? And what else, am I being asked to receive or to let go of or to free or to see? What am I being asked to see? And what am I being asked to change? And what am I being asked to honor with my integrity? To honor, for my integrity, for our integrity. And so just had a lot of questions to ask myself, and a lot of confusion to kind of just sort through, or just kind of let it be there and just ask for help, and knowing that help would come and it would become clear when it was meant to be clear, And also knowing that forgiveness also helps clear so much confusion away and to help us remember what's really true. And so just working with these things, these last cycles within cycles, And I did receive, some insights and some clarity. And I'm still processing certain things. But there were 3 relationships, like 3 core relationships, 3 main relationships that I needed to step away from. And they were all very important people who have had huge influence and impact, and I've had like soul contracts with, for sure. And they've been great reflections for me. And great relationships, great learning relationships. So great. Great reflections of where I was giving my power away, where I was overgiving, where I didn't feel like I could take responsibility, or I didn't have what it took. I didn't have that light and that power within me. I had to expect someone else to carry it for me and be who I needed for me. But it just showed me, that I was tricking myself. And I was expecting so much of myself and others to do it a certain way. Even though I'm all about always. But there was that super ego part of me and this programming, this old ancestral, cultural, familial programming that was blocking me from seeing, what programs and complexes were operating. And so it was so super interesting. But I've been enjoying working with Medusa and the monster and the asshole and the witch and the bitch. All those parts of myself and ourselves that we've been taught to despise and to deny and to hide, and to manipulate or reject and cast aside. And so it's so exhausting, like going back and forth with the pendulum of not enough and too much, not enough and too much, not enough and too much. I'm either not enough and they're asking too much, or I'm being too much and they don't have enough for me. It's all that kind of silly lies and stories. So I didn't believe I was worthy or capable. I didn't believe in my light. I was angry with them for not being who I needed them to be, for not being what I wanted her to be for me and we. I was disappointed, disenchanted, displeased, disillusioned, dismembered, disallowing we to be. And why couldn't they all see through their own bullshit, survival agendas, fears, projections, and insecurities? Why were they all pretending to know what was the best, correct answer, or the one right way for everyone to blindly obey, or to voluntarily obey? And because they were not doing it my preferred way, LOL, they were wrong so wrong to be against me, so blind and so far away. And it does, bring up some interesting things. So during this time as well, like I was experiencing some things and allowing myself to feel certain feelings that I hadn't allowed myself to feel because I had dulled and shut off my feeling function a long time ago. But I did go back and look at some things during my descansos practice and seeing different events in my life where I had to cut off or hide parts of myself or give away parts of myself to survive. And yeah, maybe it wasn't like to physically survive, but it was to psychically survive or emotionally survive or mentally survive. All those things. Spiritually survive here. And so it was kind of interesting, like, where it's just hiding all these real soulful parts of myself in favor of living a lie, because the lie was more acceptable. And just the more I hid myself from myself, like, the more I was blind. And it was like I didn't even really know who I was anymore. And that's why it's just like that message that I received from Mother Earth in November 2016. Show up and be yourself. Like, that's something like that seems so simple. Show up and be yourself. But I had no idea, like, how to be myself, because I don't even know who I am. Like, yeah, sure, I'll be myself. I want to be myself, but how do I do that? So I was an alien to myself, and had all of these layers and layers of all these overlays, all these masks, all these roles, all these identities, covering my true, whole, full self. And so as the layers start to come off, yeah, it's a little bit disturbing too. And it's like that ego, those ego deaths, and removing all that old growth and shedding all that old skin and everything, all those old adornments and those accessories and everything that we thought we were, or that we wanted to believe that we were, or that we played at being. And so it was like, totally felt a little bit of that, to say the least, instability, or like feeling like an alien in my own skin in certain ways. And also like clearing some of those old distortions, that emotional garbage and mental toxicity, that all those old programs, those disempowering programs that told me that I wasn't all right to be, that I was not all right to be, I wasn't allowed to be, because it didn't fit and it didn't go, and it wasn't pretty, or it wasn't pleasing, or it wasn't easy, or any of that bullshit. So it's so interesting now coming out the other side of it and being grateful for the alien and the villain and the demon and the devil and the witch and the bitch. Yeah, the perfectionist, the plastic, the plastic perfect idealized life. So I am so tired of the bullshit lies and stories and the tyrant's cage of fear and violence, a vow of silence to keep me safe, to make false peace, to survive here, to save face and avoid making waves, or drawing undesirable or unwanted attention, really not wanting to be seen but desperately wanting to be seen as worthy of belonging and inclusivity, worthy of receiving love and being seen as right to be, worthy of value, care, love, rightness, and esteem. So it doesn't really matter what they see or do not see, what they choose to see or they choose not to see. I'll focus on what I am seeing and how I am seeing me and we. It's not up to me to manage how others choose to see, perceive, or receive me and my energy. What they see really has nothing much to do with me personally. It's really all about them and their unconscious programming or their chosen ideals, fears, beliefs, and false identities. Or they could be their own identities as well. Authentic. That's for them to know. So nobody really sees God clearly, except God through his clear stillness and her open receptivity. So I surrender and let go of my ego's need to please, to be pleased, or to be seen in the light of wholeness, fullness, clarity, goodness, rightness, and beauty. I am enough. I am right to be. I am free to be. All I am. So be. Just be. Allow and be. Be free. Just as I am, right here. This love is me. All this love is me. All this love for me. All this love through me. Through me and everything. And so, yeah, started out the month writing a story. I'm so fucking tired. I'm so fucking tired of this. I'm so fucking tired of walking on eggshells. I'm so fucking tired of trying so hard to please, and never being able to do that. And so just looking at that, like, or that belief or that desire of wanting to be all things to all people all the time, like the sunshine, and feeling like I can't measure up or I can't achieve that sometimes with certain people, or it doesn't feel like I want it to feel, And it's just funny because it all had to do with the idealist and the perfectionist and everything. And I was so tired, trying so hard. Yeah, pushing a boulder up the hill and having it roll down once I get near the top, just almost there, and then having to push it up again and struggle and strive. And it's just silly lies. And so, yeah, just doing some of these practices, my own practices that have come to me through my intuition or that I've picked up from here and there and everywhere, pulling all these threads from these beautiful teachers and these books that I have, collected and I so appreciate, and just all these wisdom keepers and light holders, light code keepers, these lighthouses. And so, just what I've weaved into my tapestry. And I'm always adding like little threads and weaving them in. And it's just beautiful, beautiful work of art and tapestry, life tapestry. All this learning and growth and becoming and remembering like who I really am. So, initiation, the fool's journey, loss and separation, exile and isolation, despair and desolation. Myths, stories, fairy tales as portals and doorways, keys and links, clues, markers, signposts, maps and breadcrumbs, puzzle pieces. And one of the practices that I got to choose for me was this feel, kiss, flow. And I love that. That is like, it's the best. That is awesome. It's like something similar to what I was already intuitively doing, but it's more, I guess, focused in a way too. And it just feels good. So, navigating through life as a highly super sensitive person, healing individual and ancestral karma, karmic patterns and wounds, dissolving, fear and lack, shame, programming, and disempowering programming. The shame, fear, lack patterns and core beliefs. Inherited, core beliefs. So clearing our DNA, memory, our pain body, restoring our rhythms, natural rhythms and cycles, rewiring, raising our frequencies, retrieving soul memory through forgiveness, willingness, letting go of what others choose to be, share, receive, live. Letting go, letting love be, letting love fly and carry me. Letting love live through me, we, she, and thee. Surrendering the outcome and what it looks like or how it's supposed to be. May the highest good be served through all and through our being. Please help me with discernment, faith, and clarity to help me co-create, access, and contribute to organic, authentic coherence, wellness, balance, harmony, joy, love, and generosity, prosperity, and community. For the integrity of all beings, I ask the universe to go to work on our behalf for the highest good of all, for the greatest growth and happiness of all souls, in union, in balance, in beauty, in joy, in love, in grace, and peace. So much gratitude, love, thanks, and appreciation, acknowledgement for all those who have heard me, who have seen me, who have loved me and shared love with me, who have received me, who have believed in me, who have encouraged me, who have supported me, lifted me, and carried me, who have walked beside me and cheered for me, those who have held a space for me, and who have held space for me to be me. And listened deeply, received me, and mirrored my love, my pain, my joy, and my true feelings back to me. Thank you. Thank you for witnessing. Thank you. Thank you for holding space for me. Thank you. I love you and I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Those who witnessed and allowed and honored me and we. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And one thing that I appreciated from the introduction email from the Medusa Sadhana is your experience is the authority. Your personal experience, the experience of your life is the authority always. And that's damn skippy. So it's only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. And this is from The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. Exupéry. Now she knows that she answers only to God, which is the presence living in her heart. And that's a quote from Adrienne Elise. That was November 12th through 15th. The title of her podcast was Only in Oneness. And so November 13th, day 11 for the Medusa Sadhana. And this is the day of the second call. So there was like these Zoom calls. There was a call every single Saturday. And there would be a practice and then a lecture, and then questions and answers. So I guess her lecture, it was just kind of just sharing the mythologies and the wisdom and just allowing the wisdom to emerge and all of that. And, wisdom does not exist unto itself, there's the other side of it as well, which is folly and ignorance and all of that. So, it's like really accepting that there is all of it, and there is all of this potential, all of this potential to grow and expand and discover and uncover and learn and relearn and unlearn. And so it is just so cool how it all adds and contributes to knowing ourselves and knowing what we're not, knowing who we are and knowing who we're not. So potent practices, prompts, psychopomps, playmates and players, participants, portals, possibilities, and potentials. A few practices I get to explore, pick, and choose. My life as it is, not the idealized, I should have version of it. As it is, here, as it is now. All is right now. Now, all is right as it is. And so there was this, I am the goddess of. And so it was basically a prompt saying whatever is most alive in you right now, experience yourself, imagine yourself as that goddess seated in her throne, and allow yourself to speak with her voice, or allow her voice to speak through you, and that kind of a thing. And so I started writing, I am the goddess who is not allowed to relax or be fully free. I am the goddess of exhaustion and fatigue. I am the goddess of depleted energy. I am the martyr. I am the ghost. I am the goddess of emotional pain. I am the goddess of tired fucking stories. I am the goddess of I just want to go to sleep. I am the goddess of energy leaks and instinct injury. I am the goddess of ruptured boundaries. I am the goddess of trying so hard to please. I am the goddess of deep sensitivity and empathy. I am the goddess of distraction and shadow caregiving. I am the goddess without my own home space to be. I am the goddess of instinct injury. I am the goddess that is paralyzed by overthinking, overgiving, overdoing, over-editing, over-censoring, over-overing. Just get to the end, please. When will all this be over? Soon, please. I am the goddess of being pleasing in order to please. I am the goddess of over-fawning or freezing. I am the goddess of please see me, as worthy, valuable, of being needed, desired, and wanted. Remembered, considered, included, loved, held, accepted, treasured, valued, recognized, and heard, received. Respected, cared for, worthy, supported, of belonging. I am the goddess with no face, no place, and no space. So just realizing after just allowing that stream to come in, and just letting her speak, dumping onto the page, and just seeing this stream come in, and it was just realizations and illuminating these things. So it wasn't personal. Like all of these things where I felt like I had been wronged, or I had been wrong, or something was wrong. So it wasn't personal. The rejection and the exclusion, the judgments and the condemnation. I, or my false image, wasn't enough for them. Or I was just too much, or my energy was too much. They weren't enough for me, or they were asking too much of me. Those that I couldn't accept in their totality, or those who pushed and pulled me too far away. What I really needed most was me, and my full permission to be, whole, true, wild, and free, all my free love for all of me. So that was awesome to see. And I reviewed a video from May 26, 2021 about thought and memory, instinct, injury, and the battle of the beasts and the centaurs, the dancing red shoes, the feral child, the woman. Yeah, the feral child or the feral woman, the blind guardian, the stranger, the devil, the addict, the prude, the bargain without knowing. Yeah. So opening, softening, surrendering, dissolving, choosing well wishes, forgiveness, prayers, and blessings, dissolving old pain, healing and holding, letting go of the past and healing old traumatic instinct injuries, individual, collective, ancestral injuries, emotional, mental, psychic, social, cultural, physical, spiritual, sexual wounds of the pain body. Nothing is separate, nothing exists unto itself, nothing is a random accident. Please, bitches, please. Please, bitch, please. Trying to be all things to all people so we can all be pleased. Bitches, please. Please, bitches, please. Fuck those old tired stories. Please, bitches, please. I'm so tired of trying to please, to fix every damn little thing and make it into something that feels good, nice, or pleasing. I am the goddess of exhaustion. I am the goddess who is not allowed to be displeasing or displeased. I must put on a false face, a fake smile, and an idealized fantasy. To play act a forced role of don't hurt others' feelings and don't say those things. Those things aren't right, and they make others uncomfortable, and they offend their delicate sensibilities or threaten their rigid beliefs. So don't rock the boat and don't make waves. Be silent and stay safe. Be nice and stay small. Play safe. Anticipate, placate, and please to avoid wrath, rejection, hostility, and instability, violence, and pain. So I am the goddess of, I must prove that I am enough. I am the goddess of, I must prove that I am worthy. I must prove that I am enough. I am the goddess of anger, resentment, and rage. I am the one who is scorned and blamed for all your pain that you choose to cling to and carry. I am so angry. I am the goddess of slavery and tyranny. I am the goddess of there is only one right way. I am the goddess of expectation, entitlement, victim stories, and pent-up rage. I am the goddess of suffering. I am the goddess of your unacknowledged pain. I am the goddess of helplessness. I am the goddess that seethes and hates the things that are wrong and that you believe should not be. I am the goddess of self-destructive shame. I am the goddess of perpetual war games, recycling through unprocessed packets of pain. I am the goddess who is not allowed to speak, breathe, feel, live, or be. I am the goddess who has been silenced through trauma, separation, and dis-ease. I am the goddess of manipulation, domination, and deceit. I am the goddess of the cold fire burning up your insides because you've rejected, denied, devalued, demeaned, dismissed, discarded, and demonized me. I am the goddess of your unlived life. I am the goddess of your creative life. I am the goddess who has been cast aside in favor of a nice, comfortable, safe, secure life. The embodied lie. I am the goddess of lies. I am the goddess of harsh, critical eyes. I am the goddess paralyzed. I am the goddess of anti-life. I am the goddess of unhealed trauma. I am the goddess of grief. She who is not, or who has not been freely allowed to express and fully grieve. Made to feel silly for trusting my gut instincts, feelings, and then blamed or abandoned, humiliated, and shamed for speaking out for myself and others' pain, for not playing into the game of zip it up and keep feeding the status quo, the ego's agendas, comfort zones of control, victim, judge, blame game, entitlement roles and stories, feedback loops, and savior villain mind games, not propping them up, not keeping them fueled or afloat. Just remain silent and go along with the flow to keep to keep clinging to the ways that we already know, the ways we've been trained, choosing convenience, instant gratification, escape, domination, false control, avoidance, denial, distraction, and all the surrogate replacements, because we have forgotten who we are, all we are. How can I see this as love and turn it all around? How can I see this as an opportunity to reclaim fullness? What's on the other side? What's the whole truth of the matter that feels unreconciled? What is asking for love and inclusion, acceptance, attention, reception, and space to be held, received, seen, allowed to be, moved, expressed, surrendered, released, blessed, honored, freed, integrated, forgiven? Yeah. Wow, that inner asshole needs love too. That asshole is a valid part of the whole and holds a lot of gold. Me and Scott joking about that tonight. Sometimes the deepest, darkest places hold the most, or the deepest love, LOL, and the deepest joy. So let's not leave out that asshole, that beautiful, potent portal to the sunshine. Since we are our own source of happiness, the asshole can help us master and remember this, and we can choose to be happy, because these old assholes can't even take that away. Let them play the asshole role and play through all their ways. Thank them for the part they've played and wish them well upon their way, their own journey, their path of discovery, their soul development and learning. But don't tolerate abuse or violations of sacred space. Know who you are and what you're willing to experience in your own space. Thinking about memory and what I heard on a podcast today, we are hardwired to defer to a higher authority, or so-called higher external authority, depending on what that looks like, or submit to an external pecking order, an authority or a hierarchy, a moral majority. So we are hardwired and rewired, required, conditioned, programmed to comply, conform, and obey, to submit to the established order, to get along and obey. And it got me thinking about the epic fight scene from They Live, John Carpenter, because that fight scene was so long and so ridiculously overdone and so exhausting and excessive. But I get to think, but I get it, I think. I get it anyways, why the director did it that way and what he was saying or presenting in certain ways, that sometimes we have to be so beaten down, so worn down, so exhausted, and at the edge to sometimes surrender. Yeah, be at the edge of life and death. To surrender and be willing to view our situation from a new lens. And getting someone else to see through this new lens is almost as impossible as a camel passing through the eye of a needle. And so when these two guys were fighting in this scene, yeah, it was ridiculous. It was the most ridiculous, and it's the longest fight scene ever in a movie in history. And so, yeah, so it was fun. Yeah, to see that like in 2020 and yeah, draw some parallels and things. It was great. And so, yeah, so getting someone else to see like through these glasses, like they show a different perspective. This is what they were fighting about. So there's these glasses that this guy finds, this drifter. He's looking for work and stuff, and he comes into this town, and gets a construction job of some kind, and he finds like these glasses in a church, and he puts them on, and he starts to see certain things that, like it's like in a way putting them on, but like it's dropping the veils of illusion in a certain way. So it is awesome and interesting to look at. But so he's seeing like these weird things and nobody else is seeing because nobody else has the glasses. But so he's trying to talk this guy into putting these glasses on. This guy just does not want to change his mind. He doesn't want to see this guy's bullshit, what he's thinking. Like, you're fucking crazy. I don't want any of what you're selling. And so it's like us trying to convince everyone else, like, this is what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing is right, and what you're seeing is wrong, And so it's just, it's just kind of comical in those ways. So, trying to get someone else to see through these new lenses is almost as impossible as getting a camel to pass through the eye of a needle when we're so attached and so divided and so polarized and so invested to our ideologies, our identities, our roles, stories, and ideal ways and core beliefs, survival strategies, coping mechanisms. Yeah, all those things. If we're clinging so tightly to all of these things, like there isn't any room or any space to consider any other possibility or to widen our perspectives or make the room and the space for someone else to have their story and their own experience. And so it's just funny, like all of these things that we clutter up our space with. Yeah. And that's our coping mechanisms, our surrogates, the surrogate replacements, or the distractions, addictions, avoidance mechanisms, manipulation, denial, escape, suppression, oppression, domination, and control. Addicted to vanity, self-righteous indignation, judgment, self-pity, entitlement stories, and pride and fear. Yeah, self-righteous, pride, and like those justified fears that we think everybody should be afraid of, you know. And so where might I be clinging to the old, and what am I not allowing to be and unfold? What am I not allowing to change? Or what am I not allowing to let go of? What am I resisting? What am I clinging to? What am I holding on to? What am I refusing to let go of? What is dying? What is being grieved? What is being mourned? What is being released? What is emerging? What is being moved? What is being transformed? What is being composted? What is being born? What is being brought forth and through? What is being nurtured, nourished, blessed, supported, invited, honored, attended to, celebrated, appreciated, acknowledged, valued, observed, and surrendered? What's being allowed, included, unified, harmonized, synthesized, and directed? I'm so sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. So thinking about all of these friendships and relationships and these loved ones that are dear to me. Yeah, I'm sorry if you felt abandoned, rejected, excluded, and pushed away, minimized, unworthy, or not good enough. I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. I'm sorry if I am manipulated, dominated, dishonored, disallowed, devalued, controlled, demanded. If I demanded love, obedience, and swift compliance and attention. I'm sorry I didn't, and I couldn't hold that safe place for you. I'm sorry. So just going through, just some of these old things and just letting them go, letting those parts of the past and letting certain regrets go. So something I read in Buddha's Brain about empathy. It was good to remember and receive that once again today from a video that I shared on May 29th, 2021. So being empathic doesn't mean that we need to approve or agree with the other person. It doesn't mean we need to give up our own rights or our own autonomy or compromise our truth or our integrity or our creative energy. We choose healthy boundaries, transparency, and soulful, heart-based strategies. We choose loving kindness. We choose cooperation, fullness, discernment, presence, reception, and care. Presence, love, acceptance, and our ability to respond and act with mindful care, to be aware, to use our words, our energy, our power with great care. With great power comes great responsibility. Because I keep going back and forth, pushed and pulled between the two of wanting to reject and wanting to accept. And the tension is so uncomfortable. So I'm wanting to stay and I'm wanting to go, wanting to expand and I'm wanting to contract, wanting to move on, move forward and through, and not wanting to let go of certain forms of control, certain old familiar comfort zones and ego roles, certainty and predictability, strategy and old safety, security, or covering up, silencing or censoring, suppressing, repressing, editing, misrepresenting or disauthenticating, devaluing, underappreciating or deappreciating, undermining, overlooking, denying, hiding, minimizing, gifts, life, purpose, vision, mind, So thank you. I bless and freely release, offering back all that's no longer mine to carry, all that's no longer mine to burden my heart or my soul with. I am so very worthy of all this love. I am enough. I am here. I am safe. I am held. I am well. I am loved. I am valued. I am my own source and my own space to live, be, create, serve, share, love, appreciate, and cooperate, to grow, learn, embody, and integrate all that I am, all we are. Small steps, be present, tend to the small things, focus on the basics and surrender, be flexible, make the room, make the space for it all to be held, for it all to have space to unfold and play out. Through all of love's ways, right now I surrender. I'm willing to let go and be present. I'm willing to let go and surrender. I'm willing to trust, let go and surrender. I'm willing to forgive, let go and surrender. I'm willing to let go, be here and remember. I'm willing to let go, let God and surrender. I'm willing to listen, let go and remember. I'm willing to let go, be reborn and remember. I let go and remember. I let go with love, faith, trust. I surrender to God and the love that I am. I remember. We remember, love remembers. Unifying the whole, let go and surrender. Be here and breathe. I let go. And I gratefully receive and remember. Go rest. Go love and go rest. I trust, I let go, I remember. Surrender. That was from, November 13th. So November 14th, my life as it is, my path as it is, my love as she is, my soul, my whole self as I am. As love lives, as life is, not the idealized versions and fantasy projection of what should be, or is held to be acceptable, right, and worthy. And so I have been having like some weird interruptions and disruptions with my sleep patterns, just working with and doing my best with that, and like just working with these interesting fluctuations of virgin time and new life, and virgin eyes. And so there was a couple things. I was super grateful about that goddess of exhaustion for helping me to see that it was all about me people pleasing, or me trying to be pleased, me trying to be comfortable, me trying to put others at ease, or me just like wanting that ease and being frustrated when I didn't feel like it was easy, or it was, like just a struggle, and beating my head against a wall of bricks. And so it is like I've been getting those messages for months now about like there's nothing to add or subtract, just be here and just allow and let it be what it is right here. And so that feel, kiss, flow practice, I've super enjoyed. And making room for that goddess of frustration also the other day actually got to the bottom and the root of certain things there. And so, and just, something so simple that can help us investigate and excavate so much gold. So, I am the goddess of frustration and impatience. I am the goddess of irritation, exasperation, and disbelief. I am the goddess of shock. I am the goddess of grief, sorrow, and shame, and pain. I am the goddess forgotten, cast out, rejected, dismembered, excluded, cut out. I am the goddess of rejection. I am the goddess of suppression. I am the goddess of victimization. I am the goddess of frozen blame. The perpetual hero, judge, villain, victim. The witch, the alien, the devil, the whore, the demon, the angel, the awakened human heart, the luminous child, the luminous being, Christos Sophia, goddess of absolute love, devotion, compassion, and wisdom. Radha, Nephthys, and Lakshmi, Isis, Hathor, and Kali, Lilith, and Eve. Self-love, self-acceptance, self-care, self-aware, self-image, self-worth, self-esteem. Reparations, amends, repair, self-repair, the fruit, the pear. Seeing myself as worthy and complete, one all right to be, full in my totality and in my sovereignty, fullness, fertility, ripening, blossoming, and becoming. deeper penetration of the asshole, accepting that part in the play in certain ways, since we do all play all our parts in all our own ways, and accepting my own inner asshole, forgiving the asshole, appreciating the asshole for all its fertile lessons and humor. Let go of who I am or what I think I am. Shake it off, baby. Yeah, let go of who I am to others to truly be myself and be all that I am. In every given moment. All wonder, enchantment, the fool, the child, the wild woman's soul, the Heyoka doll, and shiny red ball. I am so blessed and grateful for clarity, peace, abundance, fun, joy, and spontaneity, trust, love, and joy. Willingness, devotion, and humility, forgiveness, making amends and reconciliations, lovingly releasing, surrendering, blessing, and cutting the cords, allowing death to take place, making room, making space, allowing transformation and changes, imperfections, and messy mistakes, ugly truths, and uncomfortable situations, all her ways to shake us up and help us to wake up and remember the truth. I can forgive my forgetting and our forgetting and allow what is to unfold with trust, love, faith, trust, compassion, trust, gratitude, humility, and strength and grace. And I choose joy, what gives me pleasure, and embracing my power, and all of my limitations, my potentials, challenges, and cock blocks, self-made blinders, limitations, old programs, stories, roles, and attachments. I'm willing to make the room and make the space. Making the room, making the space for joy to create, for love, fun, and magic, free love to create, celebrate, appreciate, play, circulate, regenerate, radiate, emanate, percolate, higher light stargates, making room, making waves, making space, clearing space, holding space, breathing, surrendering, presencing, making space, clearing space, listening, opening, allowing for her fullness, our fullness, all fullness to be, shared, given, received, fully. Dreaming this morning, this is November 18th, that I had another chance to start over and begin again, making better, more true, and harmoniously aligned choices. It was like I was transported back to the past before, like, a certain relationship that I had had. Yeah. That was super intense and wild and crazy. And it felt like really good at first, but then it started to feel really, really terrible. And I learned so much about that. And that was during a plant dieta that I was doing. It was the Ajos diet. And that was like the vampire juice. And this was all about discernment. It was all about discernment. And it's so ironic. Yeah. And now I'm just like, I'm getting more about like that diet that I got to receive and be initiated into, because that was a long motherfucking journey and crash course with discernment. And I learned everything about where I didn't trust me and where I had sacrifice my own needs to please others. And then I got really sick. Yeah, and I got really tired. Yeah, so that's interesting that comes back up again. And that relationship I was dreaming about the other day. I was dreaming about that the other day. And I was transported back to the beginning, or before the beginning. It was interesting. And there was that love there and that gratitude and that thanks and that humility. And I was able to hug my ex-girlfriend and tell her, thank you. Like, I super appreciate all that, we were able to learn from each other and teach each other. So thank you. And so it felt like very healing, like I had completed, or it feels like there's a sense of completion with those lessons and that karmic baggage and stuff now. So we'll see what else wants to come through around that. So I brought the wisdom that I have learned in from the last 5 to 7 years, the discernment skills that I've cultivated and developed in my open heart, and I made the choice to choose what my soul needed instead of choosing instant gratification and ego flattery, people-pleasing and self-deceit. My heart and mind were open, and I held her, and I hugged her, and I shared some nurturing, forgiving, generous, all-encompassing love in that gesture, through that gesture and that loving hug. It felt like hugging another one of myselves, and it felt like true, enduring mother love, self-love, tender, precious, gentle, supportive, affirming, pure love. That feels good, right? True, free, whole, full, and honoring. Love for me, we, she, and thee, and all of this great totality. Thank you, love, for every being. Love always, always. So that, November 18th. And then I was just like writing about how excited I was because my husband had bought me like all these new clothes. And it was so fun to see all these new changes and these new blessings and these new gifts coming in and everything. And these magical and mundane ways. Yeah, magic. It's all about the magic. So I am so excited, happy, thrilled, and pleased to see and feel such abundant support, joy, pleasure, love, and blessings, and all the beauty, inspiration, and creativity to be and create, dream, receive, give, offer, serve, and celebrate, participate and play through being full, joyful, and free. All these gifts to share, give, receive, be, and freely honor through being love for we. As we are and as will be, all this love is free, so be. Enjoy this awakening, this gift we get to live. Discover and embody this love we are for we. Lots to create and show up for today. Tend to the little things, focus on the basics, simplicity and presence, trust and surrendering, faith and receptivity, openness and flexibility. And so, just continuing and just doing my thing and looking into certain things, like where I'm letting go of them with love and increasing that value that they hold by offering it back as well and blessing it with love and honoring and acknowledging the love that it did serve. Even though, like, sometimes it looks like a disaster or a curse in certain ways, but there's positive things that can grow out of it, out of the challenges. And grief is a portal. Grief is a portal. That's one of the other things that came up during this. That all of these things are right to be. And so it's just awesome to remember that again, that, our emotions, can be portals into great change. They can be catalysts for our change. And so just remembering all these things and being grateful for all that has been and all that's brought me to where I am now. And so just looking back, since it's been a year since I've been off, it's been over a year since I've been on social media, and I've missed connecting with certain loved ones and family in that way, but it's okay, really, and just looking at the positive things that I missed about it, but that doesn't mean I want it back, So the positive things about social media, the groups, the support, and the education, the learning, and the fun all around. The funny-ass memes, oh God, the memes. The photos of loved ones and families, and the soulful, beautiful, strange, and poetic. Meeting new friends who are engaging and thoughtful, interesting, and fun to chat and play with. Sharing ideas and feelings, profound experiences with. The groups were awesome, the spiritual pages and content, so abundant and lush, so many bright souls and love messages, nourishment, nuggets, and educational courses. Breath of fresh air and all the encouragement, the authentic, all the inspiration, dedication, beauty, creative generosity, and loving kindness. Innovation, integrity, devotion, service, care. I loved opening my mind and learning new things about the world, me and we, and everything. But that doesn't mean that I can't, it's that's what I've been doing, Life is so very fascinating. Life is so curious, wonderful, and strange, and I wouldn't have her any other way. LOL, she's welcome through all her ways. I'm glad I learned that some women love their periods, and I wondered how in the world would I ever be willing or able to love my period. So that was like a couple years ago when I was like visiting a group that was like, oh gosh, if I can remember the name of their page, but it was all about empowering women and girls, and through like, yeah, through this divine feminine wisdom and teaching like ancient traditions and yeah, all those things. And it was something that helped me open my mind to something. And like, because like that part of our cycle, it's a legit part of the cycle, even though it's uncomfortable and it doesn't really feel good and it's like inconvenient and it's messy sometimes and all of that, and we have cramps and it just kind of like really sometimes super emotional, and it's just, yeah, it's sometimes not pleasant or pleasing. Yeah. Doesn't feel that way anyways. And it always felt like such a drag. And so I had appreciated like these women that were talking about how much they love their period. Now I was just like, oh my God, that's just so weird. Like how in the hell really can you love that? And I was just thinking, well, maybe I don't have to hate it. Maybe I don't have to like reject this. Maybe I can like accept it, because it's like, why not? Like work with it, work with the energy that's here, work with what is, instead of working against it or trying to suppress it or repress it or oppress it or manipulate it and all these things and make it into something that it's not. And like, what is it really? And so I started looking into certain things like, wow, when I asked myself some questions, like, one of the best things I ever could have done was open my heart and my mind and consider the possibility of being willing to love my period, or at least love me while I was experiencing this legit cycle of the moon time cycle, working with what is, respecting my body, nature, and her living wisdom and intelligence, getting familiar with my body's rhythms and my cycles and seasons, and listening to how I am feeling, tracking imbalances, and becoming more aware of the self-care needs and where I can and get to offer me more of that care. To be accountable and honest and gentle, loving, kind, allowing of myself through all stages, phases, cycles of life, through life's transformations, legit life, death, life cycle and flow, regeneration and free circulation, letting go of attachments and being present. So what are the obstructions? Where have I been stuffing it all up? Or, where's the obstacles, the cock blocks, the corks, where have I been suppressing it? Let's put a cork in it, ignoring, denying, punishing, judging it, resisting, disowning, covering it all up, avoidance or escape, or clinging on to, like something that it should or needs to be. So let go with love and surrender. Be still and remember, I am God. What it really says is, I heart God. So let go of who I am to others so I can justly be my whole self and enjoy myself, love all I am, all the parts of myself. Be true to all we are, as I am, trust my love, soul, life, being heart. Being here, being aware, being me, being no one, anyone, everyone, me. Seeing good, seeing God, seeing Goddess, and myself, and all of these good things. Observing, letting go, surrendering, having fun, then being overwhelmed, but still I'm willing. Noticing old expectations, attachments, patterns, old habits, mine and others' baggage, seeing into me and we more deeply, creating deeper intimacy through being willing, seeing into my blind guardian, into where I was blind, like playing at being that blind guardian. In certain ways, there were certain things I was totally oblivious to and totally blinded to, but in other ways, there were self-made shutters that were studiously hand-hammered over time, because I didn't want to see, because it was too uncomfortable and it was unpleasant, and I didn't want to see like Yeah, it made me really super uncomfortable sometimes to see certain things. And so I did shut off and I did dull that filling function. And so, yeah, kind of allowing that feeling, allowing me to feel my feelings again has been like a super intense, potent journey. And yeah, still working and practicing and playing with that. And I am so much more sensitive now, and I pick up on so much more easily, and so sometimes it can feel overwhelming in certain ways, but I just remember to let go and surrender and know that it's not mine and know not to take it personally and all those things. So yeah, just navigating and developing and cultivating these skills and these gifts that are already mine. So saying yes to life, yes to we, freedom, sovereignty, gratitude, and responsibility, love, joy, true generosity, intimacy, trust, and reciprocity. So seeing into my blind guardian self, needing to be seen as right, needing to be seen as enough, worthy, and good enough, validated, needing to validate my sight, the ways that I was seeing things and the ways I wanted others to see me, or that I wanted them to see how I was seeing, or how I wanted them to see me. How I wanted to be seen as worthy of attention, friendship, time, care, presence, love, affection, adoration, devotion, respect, belonging, acceptance, allowance, and the freedom to be. All of this I needed from me. I needed all of this love, for this love is all of me, and this love is all for me. This love is who I be, who I am, and all-encompassing. So I choose to devote love, affection, attention, presence, trust, appreciation, service, joy, play, and creativity, living my own life through all my ways with free-flowing, regulated emotions and clear intent, a clear, relaxed mind. LOL, easier said than divined, so it rhymed, and I will make the time and clear the space for all that's mine, and let go of doubts that are not mine, and ask for help to be loving and kind, because that is who I am. Shaking off all the old resentments and regrets, disappointments and expectations. Letting go of attachments. I am practicing patience, presence, and non-attachment, letting go. Allowing all, letting go of control. And I am so very blessed within so much love, manifesting so much in my life this year and enjoying the harvest and the fruits and the celebrations of our love labors, joy, creative, fertile ground, and foundations of all this love we are. The old blind woman, the sightless guardian in the red dancing shoes, and the mother in the handless maiden, the dulled filling function of the psyche. These are interesting archetypal themes. Yeah, to look into more deeply. Day 17 of Medusa Sadhana, and I'll most likely be continuing these practices for the rest of the year because they're so potent, fertile, rich, and lush, and very, very needed here. Interesting dreams this morning, but they faded so fast. And there were numbers playing around, 1, 2, 3, 3, 6, 9, 2, 5, 7, and the like. The complementary. So life is a trip and a half, so full and so fast, doing my best to slow down, be here and present in this moment of now, breathe, let go, and allow. I spent all day in the kitchen yesterday creating magic and healing gifts for the holiday boutique and Christmas family treats. And man, I overestimated and underestimated some things. I've never done all these things on this large of a scale with all of the extra things. Yeah, so it was a great learning experience and an epic beginning. Brings up a bit of anxiety and expectation, but I just get to remember surrendering, patience, joy, receptivity, and pleasure over pressure, discernment, presence, gratitude, appreciation, and wonder. All these gifts, blessings, opportunities, doorways, portals of change, and honoring prosperity, creating and serving community, and participating. Mouse spirit, tend to the little things. Beaver, the builder, go-getter, be willing to bite. Develop a relationship with the trees and the great mother to embody and be the bridge, the tree of life. Alchemical union and balance within. Sacred marriage, Heroes Gamos union. And so, yeah, what else wants to be shared? Balance, harmony, reciprocity, true generosity, trust, faith, grace, and hospitality, receptivity, appreciation, valuing, each expression, each form, each moment being reborn, virgin eyes, virgin life, virgin time, virgin light, the luminous child, renewed and born again, each time, through life, through her cycles, rhythms, and antidotes, rising up through the spine, through her body, heart, soul, mind, through her spirit, letting go to be empty fluid, open to receive the gifts right here, for me, within me, all right here, through all of me, we, thee, and she, and all the love we get to be, love in all her forms, changing, transforming, and being reborn. Benevolent, beneficence, beautiful goodness, beautiful, bountiful, goddess of plenty and prosperity, embodiment of Lakshmi, holy basil, holy mother of grace, beauty and fertility, vitality, harmony, free-flowing currency, circulating, she holding the torch for prosperity in all forms, for all beings in all forms, prosperity for all, prosperity through all, the great heart in her abundance, hold space for all things to be freely given, fully received, shared, and embodied. For all things to grow, live, change, transform, die, and be reborn. The horn of plenty, the holy grail, the cornucopia, the toroidal field, the field of plenty, the field of dreams, the active imagination, the feeling function, and the psyche at play. Wild woman and the inner child, the lovers, the twins, the warrior, the goddess, the double, the mascot, the model, the pedestal, the guardian, the keeper of the flame, the leader, the liberator, the cheerleader, the goddess with 1,000+ names, the rose, the ankh, and the flame. Yeah, that's all I have. Just with some notes and some things that I get to attend to and in the next couple weeks. So that's what I have for today. But yeah, I just did want to catch up a little bit and share some of those practices that were freaking amazing. And that did, help to illuminate some things and penetrate more deeply through different layers of illusion. Yeah. So I had picked up, this is my journal from last month. And I flipped it open and it opened up to some notes that I had taken about fire medicine when I was working with fire medicine last month. And that is like really awesome because it's all about the fire right now for me and the waters, the fire and the water. And so I was asking myself some questions, sorting through some things. This is from October 23rd, 2021, Aries full moon portal of change. So it's kind of fun to see that. Apocalypse and apocalypto, removal of the veils, finding another way, the I am way, the truth and the light. And so, overlays, hyperdrive. What are these superficial layers? Is it a way in or a portal into unification? Are all the false layers or outer layers falling away to reveal what's been locked inside and hidden away, hidden within in plain sight? Waters, healing waters, cooling waters, holy waters, fire water, magic of fire, wisdom of fire, fire medicine. Also the bifurcation. Fire, medicine, dream body. Makes me wonder what's being communicated and revealed to me and we. Sacred fire within us, place of eternal flame, burn away the barriers in great mystery's name. Teach us warmth and goodness, the love of grandfather son, melting every difference until we are truly one. Fire is one of the 4 clan chiefs of the earth's mother's world. Air, earth, water, and fire are the elements that regulate the weather, the composition of matter, energy, space, and time. The 6 forms of fire that we know, as we know them, are the fire of grandfather sun, the fire of Mother Earth's core, or in Mother Earth's core, the fire that comes from lightning, the fire in lava that forms the stone people, the fire that burns wood, and the fire within each of us that is the eternal flame of great mystery and is our life force and spontaneity. Grandfather Sun lives inside of us as well as in the Sky Nation and is located in our vibral core, or middle body just above the navel. When we radiate our love to those around us, we allow the Grandfather Sun who lives within us to shine. The proper use of this love energy is one form of fire medicine. Fire medicine is our passion for living, our desire to love and be loved, our need for human companionship and warmth, our physical strength, the compassion we have for others, our creativity and spontaneity, as well as the fire that fuels our medicine dreams. Our physical passion comes from the fire within, our Earth Mother. This form of fire medicine can fuel our bodies with stamina, allow us to express our sexuality, spark our creativity, and spontaneous actions. When we bring our Mother Earth's love up through our feet and into our vibral core to meet Grandfather Sun's inner fire, we have accomplished a type of inner creation, the divine union of male and female. Fire medicine is the reminder that all things come from and contain the great mystery, which is original source. The fire of creation lives within us and in all our relations. When we balance the sacred fire inside ourselves, in every form it takes, we can then perceive and become anything in creation through melding with the sacred fire in all things. This talent is spontaneous creation. Passion for living is the fuel for this inner fire and is found through appreciation of every blessing physical life offers. When we disconnect from our Earth Mother, this union of the two fires will not be able to feed our bodies the fire medicine we need, and we may become ill. I have seen this happen to people in cities who must guard themselves through shutting off any external stimulus in order to survive the noise pollution or unwanted attentions of those whom they do not wish to know. When the external stimulus is shut off, so is the connection to the Earth Mother. The boundaries of people's sacred space become very small, and their natural roots, which draw energy from the Earth Mother's internal fire, cannot feed their bodies with her nurturing. This type of contraction breeds mistrust and the feeling of separateness that eventually spread from the mind to the body, creating a disjointed sense of self. Dis-ease will set in and can only be healed through the warmth of reconnection to Mother Earth, her creature beings, and all our relations. Later, when trust has returned, it will be time to continue the healing with other two-legged humans on a new level. Wholeness, union. When we suppress our natural humanness and ignore our body's need for warmth or fire medicine, the body will become cold in places. Soon the body will forget to send life force to the areas that need warmth, love, and attention. In this modern world where people are afraid to embrace a friend, to touch someone's arm when they are speaking, or to allow themselves to be nurtured by the Earth Mother, many have lost the fire medicine that produces a sense of unity. Another aspect of the warmth of fire medicine is sexuality. During the fourth world of separation, the children of Earth forgot to honor the sacredness of sexuality, which originally was considered a holy extension of Mother Earth and Father Sky's union that brought fertility and abundance, prosperity. We are being forced to see the reflection of ourselves that we cannot love in the actions of those around us or in a mate. In a sense, this is a discovery process that will eventually lead us back to the ideas of natural sacred union that has its roots in unconditional love of Mother Earth and Grandfather Sun's love for us all. Wow, I thought that was super amazing. Wow. We are being forced to see the reflection of ourselves that we cannot love in the actions of those around us or in a mate. In a sense, this is a discovery process that will eventually lead us back to the idea of natural sacred union that has its roots in the unconditional love of Mother Earth and Grandfather Sun's love for us all. Wow. So the application of fire medicine. If fire medicine has been chosen, you are being asked to acknowledge the fire within. Your spontaneity for living depends upon your connection to fire. You can support your passion for living through acknowledging all the good medicine present in your life. Your ability to create adventure excitement comes from your willingness to give yourself pleasure and joy. All that is needed to continue the passion is to decide that you are worthy and proceed. If you have any judgments about passion on the physical level, it may be time to clear them. All acts of life are sacred when treated in a respectful manner. Any old fears of intimacy or commitment can act as limitations to relationships. If this applies to you, clear the fear. As the fear dissolves, so will the coldness of past hurts, and you will be ready for more rewarding future relationships. In all cases, fire medicine insists that we use the fire within to fuel our lives with energy. This energy comes from Mother Earth's passionate physicality and Grandfather Sun's spontaneous love. When we are in balance, this divine union sparks our natural desire for experiencing life. If spontaneity is already with you, continue. Let go of attachments, beliefs, roles, identities, habits, and rigidities. Just let them go. Practice non-attachment and trust receptivity. Super awesome message to receive again for fire medicine. Let's see where that wants to go. And that's from Sacred Path Cards by Jamie Sams. And thank you, medicine. All the good medicine in my life. And I wanted to share one more little thing. This was a little poem that came with some jewelry that I ordered. And I got like some new earrings. Yeah, it'd been several years since I'd treated myself to certain things. And so, yeah, it's just been kind of nice to receive those gifts and those adornments and those beautiful things for myself, I'm grateful. So, if the sight of the blue skies fills you with joy, if a blade of grass springing up in the fields has power to move you, if the simple things of nature have a message that you understand, rejoice, for your soul is alive. And that's by Eleonora Duse. So I'll probably copy and paste this and add it to the description link. I have not taken a look at this book yet, but I did flip it open and just stuck a paper in there. Women and Other Monsters. Let's see what page we have here to close out with. Let's see what we got. I have no idea. Page 92. How many times a man would look up from his own instrument upon hearing me play for the first time and exclaim in shock, "Wow, you're really good," she told me. "Fuck yeah, I'm really good, you dipshit. I've worked my whole life to get this far, haven't you?" But that's the thing, a lot of them hadn't. They just felt entitled to be there taking up space and holding court. Yeah, that's funny. The route these condescending men offered her into success, or whatever level of success they deigned to give her, was being charismatic, delicate, feminine, and available. 20-something-year-old Myrrh let herself be convinced that the price of admission to this male-dominated world of professional music was to make sure I was attractive and poised enough, she told me. And of course, after she wore herself literally to the bone with an eating disorder trying to earn back what was already rightfully hers, they still didn't want to let her into the secret room. I fought for years to prove myself to these men more than to myself, which was, of course, futile and soul-crushing, she said. I got spoken to like a child and treated like a performing monkey. She distanced herself from the music scene and eventually rebirthed herself as a monster. Recently, Myrrh has been making what she calls doomsday disco music under the name the harpy. For her, the harpy is a state of being or a modality, incandescently furious but active and elusive, that was brought on by realizing how many men in her orbit, many of them artists and musicians, were habitually using, insulting, devaluing, and assaulting women. Most of the ones who weren't outright breaking any laws were disturbingly comfortably indulging in all kinds of verbal harassment and abuse, she wrote to me. Men would behave badly, would pride themselves on being addicts and assholes, and then we'd get blamed, gaslit, discarded, called crazy or dirty. They might be rapists, but we were the ones befouled. The true offense, as always, is women laying claim to what men see as their due. That is super interesting anyways. And what I'd like to add, too, is that, that we all do carry those qualities within us, the masculine and the feminine. And I feel that it is interesting to, there's that shadow side, and then there's, the other side of it, the purified side. So making room, making space for the wounded feminine and the healed feminine, making room, making space for the wounded masculine and the healed masculine. And it is super interesting too, because I was asking myself something about, like, back in September and August and September, where and why have we learned to minimize, devalue, deny, and undermine our own selves and our own gifts, our own worth, our own energy, our own value? And so that's maybe something for me to look at more deeply into, like, for a deeper understanding around that, where we've been taught and we've been programmed to undermine ourselves and to devalue and minimize and demonize ourselves. Yeah. Or blame someone else and not take the accountability and the responsibility. We get to call shit out for what it is, obviously. Yeah. Let it be seen for what it is, as it is. Making room, making the space. Yeah, through that neutral witness, being that neutral witness. And then things have room to change and transform and shift. So there's one more thing that I opened to a week or two ago, and I just haven't included this. Well, this is a book that my dad gave me called Shadows of the Heart, James D. Whitehead and Evelyn Eaton Whitehead, and I had flipped it open to Courage and Temperance, and that was awesome at the time, a couple weeks ago, that I did receive it. It's page 140 and 141, and the chapter that it's from is An Angry Spirituality, Transforming Our Passions. Courage and Temperance. So Temperance was a huge archetype this year, and Temperance, according to Lee J. McCloskey, is one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Temperance is the archetype, yeah, and the others are death, the devil, and judgment, I believe. So Courage and Temperance. Anger often erupts as a raw, unruly emotion. To serve its best purposes, our passion requires refinement. Honoring anger's arousal to the work of virtuous action is an angry spirituality's most practical task. This discipline shapes our passion into the virtues of courage and temperance. Anger enjoys its finest moment when it fuels the courageous pursuit of justice. Courage, of course, is not always angry. One person quietly and courageously faces terminal illness, another confronts a difficult job with a steady resolve. But sometimes courage rides anger's energy. The Spanish language hints at this link in the word coraje, which is Coraje, righteous anger. Sorry, I don't speak Spanish. Through the word names an emotion, though the word names an emotion, I don't speak English very well either, I guess. That's fine. Though the word names an emotion, it harbors the word courage. Just anger, it literally suggests, is a form of courage. In his analysis of courage, Alistair MacIntyre notes its connections with care. When persons we care for or values we cherish are threatened, we rise to their defense. Courage, MacIntyre suggests, is this capacity to risk harm or danger to oneself in the expression of our care. The most universal example is the parent who spontaneously and courageously fights any adversary to protect a child. Anger fuels this dangerous mission of care. There's links between courage and anger. A force directed toward the difficulty of achievement, and courage in our resolve in facing the dreadful. Both dynamics embolden us to face painful challenges. Courage, Piper reminds us, is not the lack of fear, but the resolve to act in spite of fear. Conscious of her vulnerability, the courageous person still goes forward for the sake of what she prizes. As Piper suggests, courage is the willingness to proceed in the face of threat, finally, the willingness to fall, to die in battle. Eastern wisdom, too, reinforces the bond between anger and courage. There are some things that I loathe more than death. That is why there are troubles I do not avoid. These words of the Chinese sage Mencius anchor his vision of courage. To explore this ancient vision, historian Li Yurli returns to us the mystery energy of qi. As we saw in Chapter 4, this vital life force sometimes takes the shape of anger. For Mencius, the energy of qi, when joined to righteousness, becomes the fuel of courageous action. In Mencius's view, when we see an injustice, we do not simply evaluate its evil with a cool detachment. We get angry. This passionate arousal in league with reason rallies us to risk ourselves in confronting the injustice. Anger's passion, Yearly notes, can generate the added impetus that allows a person to overcome fear or some other difficulty. Mencius's linking of qi and righteousness parallels the union of anger and reason in Thomas Aquinas. When nourished and nurtured, the vital energy of qi supplies a person with an assurance about one's goals, added energy to reach them, and helps ensure that the tumultuous forces released by legitimate fears will be overcome. It almost sounds a little bit like fire medicine. Interesting. But even in the service of courage, anger's force can go astray. Courage benefits from anger's power only if it is tempered. For many Americans today, temperance suggests mildness, reticence, and an absence of passion. Christian piety shares some of the blame, insinuating that the truly virtuous should absent themselves from passionate behavior. Such a conviction drains temperance of all vitality, and this hesitance about passion has a long history. In Body and Society, Peter Brown illustrates that very early in Christian thought, chastity came to signify abstinence from sexual sharing, rather than a lovemaking that blends tenderness and passion. So in Body and Society, Peter Brown illustrates that very early in Christian thought, chastity came to signify abstinence from sexual sharing, rather than a lovemaking that blends tenderness with passion. So it was with anger. Christian temperaments turned into a disciplined avoidance rather than a virtuous expression of this emotion. In a collective amnesia, Christians forgot the angry prophets. Temperance seemed to demand turning the other cheek and following a Jesus who was seen only as meek and humble of heart. But in its truest guise, temperance serves as the companion of courage. The one virtue emboldens us to act, while the other moderates our self-expression. When we are angry, we must become sufficiently aroused to resist threat and injustice without becoming violent. The metaphor of heat helps us appreciate temperance contribution here. Anger heats us up and we get steamed and threaten to boil over in hostile actions. We are in danger of losing our temper. Temperance helps cool the temperature, bringing our anger down to a productive range. Avoiding the heat of anger is not temperance's only choice. We can act temperately in the midst of anger, moderating our rage and focusing its energy effectively. In metallurgy, to temper means to refine metal until it is both strong and flexible. A well-tempered piece of steel suits both a battle sword and a construction site. Our well-tempered anger, too, protects and builds up. Courage and temperance are not simply personal resources that we conjure out of heroic individual effort. They are social strengths cultivated in encouraging environments. Ideally, we learn to be courageous and to temper our anger by watching our family and friends and neighbors. If we come from injured and injuring homes, we may learn about boldness from sources where anger and rage are not distinguished, and vindication looks very much like vengeance. And the next little section is the power of wrath. And that's on page 142. It says, democratic societies have taught the world about the healthy role of the loyal opposition. We debate and oppose one another, but then we go forward as colleagues, not enemies. Embedded in the notion of a loyal opposition is the virtue of civility, the strength of combining antagonism with respect, of disagreeing without degrading our opponent. Wow. When antagonists employ bitter invective and accuse one another of the worst motives, they erode the line between anger and hatred, between vindication and vengeance. Then the ordinary conflicts and unavoidable agon of social life become deadly. A robust spirituality of anger faces a daunting future, overcoming our amnesia of irascible prophets and an angry Jesus, admitting conflict as a necessary dynamic in our religious life, disbelieving that violence can remedy our differences, recrafting civility as a political virtue, reinvigorating the ancient virtues of courage and temperance. Short of such a renaissance, we will be left with a moribund religious tradition of anger as a deadly sin and a cultural heritage of violence as the ordinary and acceptable voice of anger. Wow, that's interesting. That's super interesting because it goes back to the very beginning of where I started. Yeah. And so that gives me something, to chew on for sure. I can already see like the little threads there. And we'll see how they want to be weaved in with that, with and through that. It's so awesome and interesting. It gives me a lot to contemplate, so reflect on. Just wow, all the things that do connect eventually. So all the awesome things. And I guess this fell out of my book. The lover, the codependent narcissist, the friend, the romantic, and the poet, the parent, and the idealist. Oh, how awesome is that? That's so super awesome. Synchronicities. Love it, love it, love it. All right. Well, is there anything else that wants to be shared? To add to, or continue and expand with that? Maybe it's already self-explanatory, or it all just gets to be received individually, how it gets to be. So I'll take that, and I'll think that, and I'll praise that, and I'll bless that, and all that. Prosperity, all the things, all the healing, the parent, and the child, and this new responsibility, this new identity, and this new ability to respond and trust, love, to be myself, to let go of who I am for others so I can justly be myself. And have that courage to be authentic. And also use discernment and restraint and practice temperance. And so, love you all. Hope you guys are all well and doing good things, choosing good things for yourselves. All right. Grateful for you, grateful for all that is and all these gifts and blessings, all the changes taking place, all the endings and the beginnings, all that's in between, all that is, all that's been, and all that will be. Hey, love y'all. Take care of yourselves. Love is free, always. We'll see ya.